Welcome to Twin Flames with Josephine Celeste. I'm a frequency twin flame healer, a twin flame coach, shaman, and wisdom keeper. And I'd love you to subscribe, and that way we can keep you up to date with what is going on, and you get notified immediately with the new and upcoming information on YouTube's. Today we're going to talk about the dark night of the soul, as some of you have actually requested this, and the purpose of it, why there is duality, and I'll give you some tools to get through it as well, yeah, just to ease it a little bit, because it can be quite an intense journey. Now, the purpose of the dark night of the soul is primarily to get to is the death of the ego, and it's not an easy process. This allows you to rebirth into the authentic you, because all the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore goes with the dark, living through the dark night of the soul, and it brings you into the divinity of yourself. It brings you closer, if not on your life purpose. My master, she had dark night of the soul for 7 months, and she had an enlightenment, a full-on enlightenment, or more than an awakening, and that's when she then taught me, and 32 other students, but none of them passed the test. Only I did. There was only one, which was me, because it was a lot denser back in 87. And so, most twin flames go through some form of dark night of the soul, which is really our most deepest fears emotionally, in our heart and in our thoughts. Like, it's the things that we're most scared of the most, And these fears is what keeps us stuck in 3 dimension, in this dimension. That's why, there's a contract, or it's triggered that you release and move up into the higher dimensions. Now, it's not as I said, it's not an easy process, but it is, believe it or not, an opportunity to release and let go. The dark night of the soul is the collective consciousness of all the beliefs that don't serve you. Yeah, it's the illusion, the reality, a reality that's an illusion, really. And if you or your twin are going through it, you're going to actually, you're going to affect each other. Yeah. When I went through mine, I've been through it several times, more than several. Being a shaman, we go through a lot of that, as most shamans do, in order to bring more light into the collective consciousness. Because shamans, we just don't work for one-on-one. We work for the collective as well. We do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. So, in order for the consciousness to shift or to lighten. Now, these are, it's there because it's there to teach you a fear, and all these lessons are actually teachers. I've said this before. When you're going through something, it's important to look at it and say, what is it that I need to learn from this? Or what is it trying to tell me? You might not get it straight away. Sometimes I don't. But you ask yourself. And that starts to, you start to think, okay, not in control of it, because you need to, spiritually, this needs to be released in order to truly awaken into you, into the real divine you. Yeah? Sometimes when you're going through it, it's a process where it's in my case, extremely lonely, highly emotional, and you feel like there's just no way out. You just go, this is it, it's rock bottom. And it just, I've heard of others where they are suicidal. And when you get to these points, the rock bottom, it means there's only one way, and that means up. Yeah? Though you don't see it at the time. I remember, I'll share with you when I was going through menopause, and I was in the deepest depression I've ever been in my life. I was actually on medication at the time, and I couldn't get out of bed. And it was one of the times. It was a dark night of the soul. But then that changed, and something switched in my mind. And it was a time when I was just coming out of homelessness, and I just could see the light for the rest of my life. And I thought, that's it. I'm really going to dedicate myself, it was quite a while ago, to my work. And that was part of what switched on in me at that time. Still a bit of a journey, but yeah, and I've had many others since, but that would have been one of the really, really rock bottom ones for me, myself. So, and I haven't looked back since. And the medication I was off in a few months. So the thing is that, the process, as I said, it can be, something can trigger you, it could be life experience, or the soul just simply wants to purge. And as I mentioned, historically, it's what prophets went through, like the Christ. The real story is he went away for a while. So he went through part of that was from the family and everything. And he returned enlightened. What did he go through? Part of that, a big part, was the dark night of the soul. He purged his ego. I didn't want to be around anybody. Not even Mary Magdalene, who he grew up with. He wanted to just be on his own. And he had teachers and so on. So it's really important, again, give yourself honour this process, right? I know you're going to feel terrible and you think, what the hell is she talking about? How can you honour it? I feel so horrible. Just what I mean is just let it be, go with it. Let it process, yeah, and try to set up the right environment for yourself, meaning don't watch anything negative because you don't need that at that time. Have the right people around you that support, that you trusted friends. Meditation or quiet time, if you can't meditate, is really, or a bath even, anything like that, be in nature, or water I find is very, very good. So baths, river, beach, anything like that will help you. Sometimes healing can help, but I wouldn't be doing anything too deep. Yeah, it's more for your emotional you to just sort of support you through this process. Yeah. So, it's very, very important, the dark night of the soul, because I'll tell you how it works spiritually. The darker and the deeper you are, and we're quite deep because of most of us are old souls, we're evolutionary, so we've got quite a depth to us. And in that, we've got darkness that we haven't, or ego, that we haven't worked out. Like, I'm talking really deep roots. We're talking root stuff here, yeah, core. So when you come through that, you come into the beautiful divine you. And sometimes, as I said, it's a process, more often than not. It takes time, yeah? So, it's very important to understand what's going on. And, if your divine masculine or feminine is going through it, please don't try and take it on for them. We tend to do that. Send it back so that they can grow strong within themselves. I'm not saying to abandon them or not support them, but don't make the conscious intention of carrying it for them as a twin. It's really important. You need to be there and send them love. That's what you need to do. Energetically, yeah? Even if you don't see them, you see them, whatever the physical reality is, just send them love, and that will help them through, yeah? And ask for help for you to send love to them. Yeah, don't use your energies. That's very important. So I hope, my wish from my heart to yours is, of course, that this has helped you. Very important, this information. And I do one-on-one sessions in person or in Skype. I've got my novel, if anybody would like a autographed copy, and all the other info is down the description box. So till next time, lots of love, and let's hands in hands together make this world an amazing place, huh? Okay, Josephine.